Warning, this video is not made for kids. I will be discussing very serious subject matters that should not be talked about by those under the age of 16. If you do not wish to hear such things, please go to another video. For those that are staying, we have a lot to talk about. This will be a one-time video. The views expressed here are simply my own, and I will not bring them up in any future videos, because I know that politics and Thomas do not go together, unlike a certain someone. Do not willingly go out of your way to dox, harass, bully, or abuse any of the fans of Sodor Productions may be featured in this video, or Sodor Productions himself. Committing crimes to get rid of someone is just messed up. Just use words and evidence. Please don't threaten. I don't want him dead. I don't want you dead if you're watching this. You're perfectly fine to just continue. I just hope that you change your ways. Trump is amazing. He is saving the Thomas brand. Those liberals do not know how to do anything. Buy my stuff and Colin, please. I am very shallow and hoping that this will distract from the fact that I am very insufferable and I am a complete joke in most of the fandom. Please continue to watch my stuff. I hate everything that Mattel makes because I want everything to be the same. Those are the words and statements that no doubt Sodor Productions has heard numerous times in his thoughts. Starting way back when, Sodor Productions typically made wooden railway videos, which are perfectly alright, until this video, when he decided to basically follow the Nidrosa, Critical Drinker, Desperoo route, and basically just saying that everything sucks. It's known as the right-wing grift, basically just making things saying, oh, I hate that thing because it's black, and then you get like 1 billion views, and it's like, come on, man. Let's get the major elephant out of the room. Quite simply, Sodor Productions is a transphobic, racist, sexist loser who has said the N-word, hard R mind you, numerous times. Not to mention the constant hating on Nia just because she's from a different country. The sexism part of this comes straight from the fact that he hates Emily for just existing. Like, bro, just calm down, it's a talking train show. They're allowed to put a female character in there. Literally all locomotives in history have basically always been called or referred to as her. And the transphobia comes from the numerous instances throughout multiple videos where he attacks users like Yin over pronouns, which, spoiler alert, everyone has them. To basically say, he was over there, they're going that way, over there, she sat down on the seat. That's basic pronouns. And I'd also like to mention, he keeps using the same dumb images of like Trump apparently saving Thomas, along with constant images of Topham, Gordon laughing, even though I thought you hate brother, like why on earth do you keep using the same damn images? Hating on Nia a lot, I should not be able to scroll along your page and just see 5 images, zooming in and zooming out 15,000 times. That's not new, that reeks of AI. On the subject roughly of Trump, how is Trump even going to save the Thomas brand? It's still going moderately strong under Mattel. If it was sinking, how come we're getting new merchandise from it every year, plus the project that is currently in the works, plus the eventual movie? Why would they be thinking about a movie if they were not going to go through with it? Literally, Barbie made like $1 billion. Like, if they played their cards correctly, they could easily replicate a success like that, maybe like 500 million with Thomas the Tank Engine. Why would they get rid of that? And again, Mattel, the brand that owns Barbie, Hot Wheels, and many others, would not just throw Thomas away like that. They're just gonna keep it for like a while. On the topic of merchandise, let's talk about scalping. The form of scalping is simply defined as buying for the sole purpose of marking it up in price and selling it again. And if we take a look at Sodor Productions' eBay page, take a wild surprise at what we see. Famously, he got Colin from the prop auction for 13,000 USD, and then proceeded to try and sell it for 45,000. And when shockers, no one wanted to buy it, he decided in his infinite wisdom to sell it back to the prop store to be sold at the auction in London or whatever. But like, does he not know how auctions work? The world isn't clamouring for Colin. You know full well you were crying about the credit card debt was hurting the accounts and the 45k sale wasn't coming anytime soon. So you were trying to basically hide away until very likely a member of your Discord found the London auction and apparently saved you. Like, there's no other conceivable way that you decided to try and sell for 45k in full knowledge that the auction was coming out. You could have just kept it quiet, you could have just been like, oh, I have colon, all that. By the way, your constant manhandling of it is actually damaging it. Like, you could actually end up losing 20%, maybe even 30% when you give it back to the London auction. You've got to take it from America back to there. The shipping is going to be up, so you're going to lose money on that because of Trump. You're also going to lose the money because of the damage of the items, which is very likely to happen during shipping. It's a lose-lose situation. And quite frankly, I think I may know the reason why you actually did try to sell Colin in the first place. Because of the Brit auction, where basically Brit Allcroft's daughter decided to sell everything that Brit owned. Quite scummy actually of her. Basically, you know that the tapes for the original Tatma cut were in there. You knew that the lady prop, which was a replica mind you, was in there. You knew this painting was in here. You knew this was in here. This was in here. You very likely had a watch list on all of them. Like, honestly, the game that's being played right now, I can see what you're trying to do, but quite frankly, if it does fail, and it most likely will, about 80% most likely, it's gonna absolutely blow up in your face. Anyone who's not in your fanbase is going to hate you. You're gonna end up poorer. This isn't even me hating you, this is just me just being simply looking at economics and just saying that it might not work. Yeah, the fanbase. Let's talk about the fanbase. Let's go to any comment section underneath a Sodor Productions video. You'll see channel members screaming like, Sodor Productions is a legend, while spamming like 15 emojis of like the same 2 images, as though as the 15 emojis was really necessary for me to agree with them. Spoiler alert, no. You could put 5 million. That does not make your point more valid. Some of the replies that I've seen under my comments and other comments are actually quite a bit insane, very rude, and kind of desperate. They really don't affect me, but they could definitely affect others. I remember this one case of, I think his name was Redlined Carousel. Basically, there was one time when a commenter called you out, and he replied 3 times under the same comment, basically going through like all the stages of denial. Like, this is just kind of crazy. Honestly, some of the commenters kind of seem a bit like bots and alt accounts, and some of them just seem like they're just accepting the crap that's just getting shoveled over and over and over by you. It's kind of sad, actually, the audience that you're captivating. And, on the topic of sad news, this is the part of the video where things get even more depressing. So, skip to the time on screen if you want to skip this next part. We are going to be discussing recent events. Charlie Kirk was shot a few days ago, from a straight white man, mind you, and Sodor Productions is pearl clutching over the fact that Kirk is dead. But let's see what type of man Kirk actually was before he died, and quite frankly, Kirk can basically just go rot in hell alongside the rest of the MAGA cult. Kirk has said, and not limited to, killing Joe Biden, shooting immigrants, fathers should be allowed to physically hit their children, calling trans people abominations, him saying that gun deaths were a necessary evil, helping to organise the January 6th riots because your precious felon leader got voted out, shockers, calling for all gay people to be stoned to death, and finally, and this is the one that pissed me off the most, saying that if a 10-year-old got pregnant, aka being raped by someone, then the child should not be allowed to abort the child. Sorry, but I will never feel any sympathy for Kirk. The way he went out was awful, absolutely diabolical and abysmal. Should not have gone out that soon, but quite frankly, I am not going to feel any sympathy for him. The man himself did not exactly deserve to stay alive. These things are actually very sickening. It is only the kids that I feel sorry for, because now they have to be raised by the mother who is equally deluded in this ideology. There is a major difference between free speech and hate speech, the latter of which could lead to people like Kyle Rittenhouse's example of driving across to a different state, pulling out a gun, and being shocked when people decide to run away, but then he decided to shoot them and claim self-defense. And guess what? He got acquitted for that, because guess what? He was a straight white man. You're free to state opinions about something being not good. That is perfectly fine. That is allowed under free speech. You know what? How about I use free speech then? I despise Charlie Kirk, I despise Rittenhouse, I despise genocidal maniac killers from Israel in the Middle East committing a genocide against the Palestinians who are living in Gaza. I despise Republicans wishing to make everything worse. I despise the same Republicans who are blocking the Epstein files from being released because Trump is in there as well as Clinton. Arrest both of them. Don't use Clinton as like oh, the Democrats didn't want to release them. Ghislaine Maxwell was on trial. If they had released him during Biden's term, she would have gone free. Ghislaine Maxwell, the second in command. I despise Elon Musk. I despise Nigel Farage. I despise J.D. Vance. And most importantly, I despise Donald Trump. Under free speech that you no doubt are crying about over what I just said, what I have said should be perfectly fair to say. Or is this a case of rules for thee, but not for me? Also, latest update as of recording, Trump literally just said that smart people don't like him. Literally from the words of the man on the chair. Well, somehow the most correct thing he has ever said in his life. Good grief. And when you try to rebuttal against Sodor Productions saying basically, you really shouldn't be promoting this type of stuff to your fan base, he basically just goes and just says, hi, you're brainwashed, laughing emoji, 15 Gordon laughing emojis. That's not really proving a point. That kind of makes me think that you're brainwashed in return. And note, this is all surface level. This is what I have gauged from people talking about this on Twitter and just looking on YouTube and just randomly scrolling through, clicking pause the very second that it starts, scrolling the comments, leaving. Because I, quite frankly, am not giving you any satisfaction with the YouTube watch percentage. But let it be known that if I were to go through every single hate video individually, quite frankly, this video would be 3 times longer with absolutely everything despicable that Sodor Productions has hinted or publicly stated. From what I have gauged from the videos, however, from the limited amount that I ingest, poison is very deadly in large quantities. You love the classic series, hate anything post season 6, gee I wonder why, maybe the inclusion of Emily might have something to do with that. You hate Brubber because of diversity and like 2 women and one of them's African. That's big whoop. Even though most of your emojis and reaction images are kind of from Brubber anyways, but like, alright. You hate All Engines Go because you wish the brand had died, but then you wouldn't have anything to talk about. So hypocrite much. You bash people who like All Engines Go, even going so far as to make a hate video for an artwork, which I remember that you got copyright struck for, by the way, and judging by your reaction, you don't give a shit about anyone else but yourself. That was when you used the N-word for one of many times. And we know this is your one, because how would you have this, how would the screenshot be there showing the copyright thing for that channel? Unless someone else in the Discord also decided to go by Sodor Productions and get sent that by the actual one, there's absolutely no reason why on earth you had to say the N-word. Hara, we know it's you, address this. Also let it be known that he's also made fun of a black person by posting an image of a monkey, like, that's just so racist. We know you have 2 copyright strikes, 1 more and the channel could be terminated. Being money hungry because the IRL job and YouTube job isn't paying enough, the stats on Social Blade show basically how much you really earn, not counting membership. But if we add memberships, this is the total amount. It's not exactly a whole amount per month. Let's see how much it actually is by year. That's presuming solely YouTube revenue alone. That isn't a lot. I make more than that working 20 hours a week. You keep buying products for way more than you should, complaining about them, and guess what? Scalping them for even more than you bought them for. We have screenshots of you saying slurs, we have the screenshots of you being so deluded that you willingly gave up any chance you may have of coming back into the fandom with open arms. Over 80% of the Thomas fans hate you, by the way, just to let you know, because we are just tired of the hate. Like, we get it, the 6K sub channel isn't even pulling in half that number on most videos. That's YouTube, and surprisingly, people don't care about the constant shit being conveyed along. They'd rather take the time to support good channels like Unlucky Tug, Mainland Studios, Usual Bloke Luke, Enterprising Engine 93, all of them. You know, just people who are just far more positive, far more nice to actually watch. The fandom isn't dying. I noticed that you've changed the title to be pathetic this time, and in fact, it is the biggest it has ever been in recorded history, with the audio extravaganzas selling out, so much so that the Telefilm Railway can't even run another one because it's that popular. Carty is helping to restore Britt Allcroft's original version of Tatma, new fan projects pushing the boat out with content creation with beautiful videos, models, screenshots, music, research, the whole lot. But here you are, stuck in the past like it's 2016, 2017, Bravo's just been announced and it's just become trendy to hate it for some reason. Sure, you found your niche, and I'm not going to rag on that, but that's still not going to stop me from just thinking that you really could have just been positive from the start. You could have just done your life better, rather than living on parents' money with a minimum wage job. Thinking that you're the best in the world. But you're nothing more than a piece of gum on the sidewalk that people try to avoid stepping on, thinking that Trump's going to live till he's 100. He's got like a year at most. Ruling the country like a mix of Handmaid's Tale and the alternate dimension from Peacemaker, with only white people allowed in America. That is what is most likely going to happen if Trump is still around for quite a while. And that scares me. But guess what? When it all collapses, you won't be welcomed from your past gazing as everyone else has moved forward to try and survive under these conditions caused by your glorious leader. We create things that bring joy to others, rather than divide us with every video. Also, new update as of recording. Someone made a concept for a new toy line, and guess who came right along to slander it, saying that it's awful, right on clockwork. Even though it really isn't, it's actually a really good model. Like, go and support Parker, that was actually a very cool concept. I don't think it could have really been made fully, but I don't know, it actually looks quite neat. Wow, shockers, you're being even more of an asshole. And thankfully, there are a lot of comments calling you out on this. You are treading the line very tightly, and you are getting desperate for views and money. There's not enough coming out for you to talk about. You're going to run out of stuff to say. You're going to become the exact same thing as all the other review channels are, like Critical Drinker. There's been no movies for him to talk about, so he's just been talking about just random people and apparently how they're crashing and burning. Even though she's successful, she's in more movies, he's still directing, they haven't crashed and burned. But hey, maybe you might feature in that after you crash and burn. Because honestly, this is just all so pathetic. You're craving the attention, and it's just so sad. In conclusion, Sodor Productions is just generally one of the worst Thomas YouTubers out there at the moment. From being transphobic, racist, sexist, all the way down to hating on everything and everyone because they don't follow his very selective mindset that he has deluded himself into thinking is the public perception. And again, we have the proof for all of this. If you are willing to respond to those allegations rather than delete every message of you saying those words into the Discord, then congrats, you have a free video. Explain that to the audience of how much of an apparent saint you are. Sure, why not? Prove yourself innocent. But let it be known. The evidence is out there. You can't hide it. We know exactly who you are, what you're doing, and how pathetic you are. Most likely you're just cherry picking moments right now to take them out of context and then use the Charlie Kirk method to oh, he said the wrong thing, blah 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 blah, and copy and paste it, chop it around like the BBC did. Guess what? You literally have nothing on me. What have I done? I've maybe had a bit of a few stutters in some videos. My mic might not be the best. I've read the Railway series, I've made timelines of videos, I've had fun doing what I'm doing. I actually want to get up in the morning and create new stuff so that people actually learn. You create stuff that you want people to see. I create stuff that I wish for people to see. Stuff that I think is worthy of their time. I think that they actually can learn something from it. You, however, you just make something to just constantly keep the status quo of hate, 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 hate. And that is depressing. You know what? If you want to argue any of this, any of what I have actually said in this video, you know what? Comment underneath this video. I'll be waiting for you. You can bring along all your fans. You can put a massive post on your thing saying all 6,000 of your subscribers come to my comments and then just constantly slander me or bully me. Guess what? Thick skin. Ain't got nothing on me. Literally words off a duck's back. Hey, maybe that's why I'm called a mallard. And this does go for actually anyone. This doesn't actually have to be revolved around Sodor Productions fans. I'm gratefully open to have any discussion. Some people may say that oh, I'm being a little bit too harsh on Charlie Kirk. I'm perfectly open to discuss why you think that, and I'll describe why I think that. I may not agree with you, but I'll see what your side actually says. This is TW Mallard 38 signing off for now. This is going to be just a one-time video. Unless Sodor Productions responds, which he most likely isn't, but he might do because hey, that's just attention and free money for him apparently. even though it really won't make him that much. Until we meet again in a far happier video, goodbye. If you want to see a happier video and one that I am proud of, please click the thing that is suggested on screen. I do think it is far more worthy of your time than anything that Sodor Productions can make.